A lockdown of copy and paste means that we have E-Arena continuing to challenge for those top spots into day 2. There's something about E-Arena and this stage, literally last year, for PGS is also looking pretty darn good. What is it, Avenger? What is it?
2 second places and a win, that's what it is. That's going to put them quite close within the very tough games. I'm going to tell you that right now. And, yeah, last year was looking good. This year, apparently Jacob out of nowhere is just one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
I mean, he looked good in that game, and I think it goes along to say that APAC has completely emerged in the front of this thing as they have been playing very, very well. Now, I do think there's something to be said for the fact that 5 teams have made it to this stage. There's sort of a comfort level. Like, as they get to walk around, they're sort of traveling and fighting and doing grand finals with people that they spend a lot of time with and know well. All of them are in a good mood. They always seem so happy, and here I think you see it reflected in the game.
Yeah, definitely. As we look at the death throes of this one and see how all of these teams had to maneuver around, and aside from what was copy and paste, aside from the Bestia Tower, all the other teams kind of playing these edge positions. Bestia did, of course, make it a little bit further into this game, but these edge spots, they don't really afford you a whole lot of cover.
No, but if this is your bad games, if that's your consistency games, then I'm looking forward for them to pop off and get a win, because we know the guys are capable of. We've seen them before. DraftKings, one of the craziest mechanical players out there, still one of the most legendary players of the game. I think in 2022, he was one of the only players to have ever been at every single global and every single Nations Cup too.
Yep. Absolute grinder. This circle shifts were a bit of a grinder map. We see it kind of go down towards shelters, continuously cut off compounds, and teams sort of left being, am I the team that has something to work with?
It's a huge back-to-back coming in for E-Arena here for day number 2 of the grand final. Absolutely huge potential ramifications for our leaderboards. They put themselves in number 1. It's the wire out there all day.
Woo! I think it's safe to say EA, they're in the game.
You're right. He's right.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Avenger doesn't like it.
No, but I will say this. If in half of your games you're getting 2 second places and 2 wins,
true,
you're on the road to victory. That is looking good for them. But I will say this on top of that. Well, I want to see that continue on the wildcard maps too. And once we get to Miramar, if they're not solidifying themselves, sure. Also, greedy 2-2 splits paying off. Shouldn't be able to be paying off. Maybe it's because we're having hot drops, we're having teams that are getting slowed down by other situations too.
So more room in the mid.
Yeah, let's see if there's going to be continuing to have this much space. Bestia also being able to get some good space in there, getting some placement points. I thought Twisted Minds was going to be out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Twisted Minds getting out of the hot drop in its inception was good for them. I mean, 17 going to school in order to try to steal kills and be troublesome was fascinating to watch, but we do see EA is able to start their run by eliminating Taikula, who's, again, just sort of felt like speed bumps for some of these teams so far in the lobby here in the last 2 days. But EA continuously finding a chance. I think it was Poro maybe in the green room who was like, I've never seen a team get so many guys knocked and then be able to get them all backed up to 4 over and over and over again. EA's just not being punished for anything.
Not too much. Looking at the final moments of this game as well, and all of these fights on the edge. Whilst E-Arena was cheeky down towards that southwest side and really carving out a huge swathe of area, I think that as they eventually come in, you see Daytrade take out Bestia where they are. Those teams that are kind of in the middle scrapping for spots just eventually all get cleaned up. Well, never mind about bowing South Korean overlords. We have new overlords. Bow to APAC. Therathon 5.
We're not worthy.
21 kills. Ranger X had like 9 kills with 22 people still alive. This was absolutely ridiculous. Balls to the wall for Therathon 5.
I mean, and not only Therathon 5, all 4 of our top teams were APAC.
What's going on?
Absolutely crazy. I don't know what's in the water there. It does feel a little bit like maybe they're the only region still playing all the time and enjoying themselves, but look how much fun. Every time we look in on them, they're having a good time. They're playing the game, they're winning, they're making strong moves. That was beautiful.
That's some of the most crazy kind of mid to late game I've ever seen. Also, one of the most enjoyable endings I've seen on Rondo. It's a bit of a switch up. We don't have a racetrack ending. We don't have a bamboo ending. Here, on the far eastern side, so many teams have to travel here, but T5. they just fight all the way through and through, just crazy.
They wipe the lion's share of the lobby, essentially. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a record. Right. It feels like it might be. It's crazy.
Yeah, there was a moment there when I thought you were going to bring up a particular team, and I was just going to say, okay, yeah, they just wiped everyone.
Exactly.
Just insane. What a game from them. Ranger X just absolutely blasting things from the word go. And I mean, from there, obviously, Arena was actually the only APAC team which was having trouble. They've already just won 2 games. So who is going to stop APAC if they're looking this fantastic? And I mean, it's not like Terraform 5 was like lowly when it comes to the overall leaderboard. So they're just gaining an extra 31 points on top of that. Is bonkers.
You know, in the last minute, we're like, well, you know, these 2 teams are leading the APAC, guys. And T5 was like, hold my drink. Time for me to climb up there and join you. But we are looking at a world where as we get towards the halfway point in this day, we might end up seeing 1, 2, 3 at some point today, all APAC.
Maybe. Especially if Daytrade can pull their finger out as well. Martin is obviously looking fantastic towards the end. Pathompong will round things out. So yes, all right, call it now. We have APAC absolutely destroying day number 2. This is kind of unprecedented here. It was almost 3 wins out of 4 for E-Arena, and then only an APAC team can shut them down at the very end, Toffees.
I think that makes 6 wins in the grand final for APAC teams out of the 10 games that we've played.
Only chaos can stop chaos, and here APAC is doing exactly that. And Forest, a third, a second, and now a win for them today. What a great day for APAC overall. I'm kind of in awe. Like, it's just paying off so much for them that they are thriving in their chaos at home.
Admittedly, Forest needed it.
Sure.
They were having a bit of a rough time yesterday, that's for sure. Definitely a big jump up for them.
But that speaks to that attitude. We talked about even in the bottom of the leaderboard coming today, they seem like they were excited to be here to play. And it's just every time that I see them doing, that's what they're going for. Forest played the end game very, very well. I think maybe if there had been one more bullet in that shotgun, it might have gone the other way. But it was an excellent fight at the end. That was a great moment. Right? They came with the camera at the perfect time.
If this is what you look like from Xiaobei's side, and you see, there's 2 cars, and it's Xiaobu DD flying across the map. Yeah, it's honestly a little bit rough for them. But here, in this area, difficult area to play, difficult area to kind of come down, and it comes down to the compound where it basically can accommodate like 4 or 5 teams. Again, chaos. So many situations where teams are kind of trying to make the best of it. I think, and I would like to say that I think Twisted Minds made the best play, considering they had the control on all sides, but they did not come out on top, even though they were 4 strong for a very long time. It was the chaos that came out on top.
It does make you wonder. Twisted Minds in there alongside all of APAC. They only got 1 kill going into that situation, and then they couldn't really get much done with it either. You got Panzers flying at you left, right, and center. Then suddenly somebody in here, it was Lyrics actually, gets on a bike. Examples like, now's my time to strike, but then he comes around with a shotgun.
He did the drop shot. He thought he was going to drive in or run in, and did the drop shot.
There you go, Tycooler, very much needed points and breaking the stronghold that is APAC throughout the day. It's about time somebody made it happen.
And it was the team on the bottom of the leaderboard. They're like, someone has to save us. Tycooler was like, I'll take care of that for you. And somehow it was too cool. They make their way up to the top. I will say part of this was the kerfuffle in the warehouse where there were so many teams. Falcons.
Big pop. Yeah,
it was obscene. It started there. You saw that crash down. 17's able to sort of defend this attack. You immediately see a knock by example right after this, and then the chaos starts because you'll see the Expendables come in. Twisted Minds comes in. Forest comes in. New Happy comes in. All of these teams over the course of the next 6 minutes decide, I want this warehouse.
Yeah, and for me, what happened here is like, okay, this is potentially the winning spot to come out of it, and it was not. TKL's spot was better because they came out on a better spot. They had that southern side to themselves, and they could just force everyone away. In the end, they're 4 guys strong. Everyone else is fighting, and it's like a mini micro-urban ending here because everyone's trying to get out alive, and it's just impossible because you have H1 of the DPS, load goes on the top, just killing everything, and
That's the thing though, right? As much as Tycooler's spot ended up being the winning spot in the end, if you do somehow wrestle the warehouse away from everybody else, you're probably guaranteeing yourself podium. And that is probably... you're playing the odds at that point.
If 17 had been able to win against that Falcons final showdown, I think then we have maybe a different end spot because it was Logos up there by himself with no re-up, no bullets, no support. He just has to kind of throw and fold. If he's got 2 guys downstairs, different ballgame.
The problem is that everyone is delaying, right?
Yep.
Falcon is not committing, saying, okay, it's worth now that we strike now. We're going to clear out the team and maybe only be 3 or 2 guys left alive. Everyone is delaying it until the inevitable happens where the circle is going to push you out. You're not going to have time to fight and have a clean fight. You're not going to be able to start resting. And then the team outside, just like we have the urban endings, the city endings, the teams that are on the outside gatekeeping the teams trying to get out of the cities, they're going to get absolutely destroyed. That's exactly what TKL did. They got a lot of kills doing it.
I also think we're not used to seeing a situation where there was at one point
Curdy's prayers are answered. Bagel Pie gets a victory here after 12 tough games for the boys, but they finally get one on Miramar. A bit of down to the wire this game, as of course we have a very divided late game circle for all of these teams to try and incorporate into their strategy.
You know, it kind of started and ended the same way. It was all about getting that high ground and not having to deal with this low area, and we see absolute chaos break out in the early game as it was crash after crash. Falcons won their first throwdown, then had to move to the gas station where again they get stuck in a big kerfuffle. Petrichor locked the spot, try to hold them out, but everyone decides that they're going to get involved, and that seemed to be the name of this game. There was a point as we went into the late game that I believe we had 4 APAC teams once again looking like this might be a dominating match for them.
There was the potential for that.
It really got close.
I was concerned. I was concerned, but even before that, we had 3rd parties, 4th parties, 5th parties, 6th parties, 7th parties.
It's so many parties, birthday parties.
A lot of parties. Even Clinton's party.
Clinton's birthday party here. But yeah, they were on the northern side, the APAC teams, and as you saw, I think one of the hardest games to play is when you have that road in the middle. It's just in a canyon, and it's way worse than a river, right? And then we ended on the southern side. I was looking like, okay, Twisted Minds, they might be having the control. Bagel Pop, the 3rd-party timing on the Expendables fight with the Twisted Minds guys. That was just perfectly executed by them. Utility was kept as well. Songjiang running at them with 4 or 5 nades, just swinging. Got tons of open opportunities there.
Bizarre stuff, and we saw as Therapon 5 once again, Ranger X peeking on over with the M249 and putting the boot in against Day Trade for the most part, as they were having a bit of a rough time. I thought maybe Twisted Minds were going to go very far with this one. I was shocked when they got 3rd. I thought guaranteed at least